a pseudo-register M which refers to the differentied memory location pointed to by HL can be used almost anywhere other. Program counter status register 16 SZAC peak flags. Registers can be used. The 8080 has a 16-bit stack pointer to memory replacing the 8008's internal stack and a 16-bit program counter. Flags. The processor maintains internal flag bits, a status register, which indicate the results of arithmetic and logical instructions. Only certain instructions affect the flags. The flags are sign, S, set if the result is negative. 0, Z, set if the result is 0. Parity, P, set if the number of 1 bits in the result is even. Carry, C, set if the last addition operation resulted in a carry or if the last subtraction operation required a borrow. Auxiliary carry, AC or H, used for binary coded decimal arithmetic, BCD. The carry bit can be set or complemented by specific instructions. Conditional branch instructions test their various flag status bits. The flags can be copied as a group to the accumulator. The A accumulator and flags together are called the PSW register, or program status word. Commands, instructions. As with many other 8-bit processors, all instructions are encoded in 1 byte, including register numbers but excluding immediate data, for simplicity. Some can be followed by 1 or 2 bytes of data, which can be an immediate operand, a memory address, or a port number. Like more advanced processors, it has automatic call and ret instructions for multi-level procedure calls and returns, which can even be conditionally executed, like jumps, and instructions to save and restore any 16-bit register pair on the machine stack. 8 1-byte call instructions, RST, for subroutines exist at the fixed addresses 00H, 08H, 10H, 38H. These are intended to be supplied by external hardware in order to invoke a corresponding interrupt service routine, but are also often employed as fast system calls. The instruction that executes slowest is XTHL, which is used for exchanging the register pair HL with the value stored at the address indicated by the stack pointer. 8-bit instructions. All 8-bit operations with 2 operands can only be performed on the 8-bit accumulator, the A register. The other operand can be either an immediate value, another 8-bit register, or a memory byte addressed with 16-bit register pair HL. Increments and decrements can be performed on any 8-bit register or an HL-addressed memory byte. Direct copying is supported between any 2 8-bit registers and between any 8-byte register and an HL-addressed memory byte. Due to the regular encoding of the MOV instruction, using a quarter of available opcode space, there are redundant codes to copy a register into itself, MOVBB, for instance, which are of little use, except for delays. However, the systematic opcode for MOVMM is instead used to encode the halt, HLT, instruction, halting execution until an external reset or interrupt occurs. 16-bit operations. Although the 8080 is generally an 8-bit processor, it has limited abilities to perform 16-bit operations. Any of the 3 16-bit register pairs, BC, D, or HL, referred to as B, D, H in Intel documents, or SP can be loaded with an immediate 16-bit value, using LXI, increment or decremented, using INX and DCX, or added to HL, using DAD. By adding HL to itself, it is possible to achieve the same result as a 16-bit arithmetical left shift with one instruction. The only 16-bit instructions that affect any flag is DAD, which sets the CY, carry, flag in order to allow for program 24-bit or 32-bit arithmetic, or larger, needed to implement floating point arithmetic. A stack frame can be allocated using DAD-SP and SPHL. A branch to a computed pointer can be executed with PCHL. LHLD loads HL from directly addressed memory and SHLD stores HL likewise. The XCHG 15 instruction exchanges the values of the HL and the register pairs. XDH exchanges last item pushed on stack with HL.input/output scheme. Input-output port space. The 8080 supports up to 256/16 input/output I/O ports, accessed via dedicated I/O instructions taking port addresses as operands. This I/O mapping scheme is regarded as an advantage, as it frees up the processor's limited address space. Many CPU architectures instead use so-called memory-mapped I/O (MMIO), in which a common address space is used for both RAM and peripheral chips. This removes the need for dedicated I/O instructions, although a drawback in such designs may be that special hardware must be used to insert wait states, as peripherals are often slower than memory. However, in some simple 8080 computers, I/O is indeed addressed as if they were memory cells, memory mapped, leaving the I/O commands unused. I/O addressing can also sometimes employ the fact that the processor outputs the same 8-bit port address to both the lower and the higher address byte, i.e., in 05H would put the address 0505H on the 16-bit address bus. Similar I/O port schemes are used in the backward-compatible Zilog Z80 and Intel 8085, and the closely related x86 microprocessor families. Separate stack space. One of the bits in the processor state word, see below, indicates that the processor is accessing data from stack. Using this signal, it is possible to implement a separate stack memory space. This feature is seldom used. The internal state word. For more advanced systems, during one phase of its working loop, the processor set its internal state byte on the data bus. This byte contains flags that determine whether the memory or I/O port is accessed and whether it is necessary to handle an interrupt. The interrupt system state, enabled or disabled, is also output on a separate pin. For simple systems, where read interrupts are not used, it is possible to find cases where this pin is used as an additional single-bit output port. The popular Radio 86RK computer made in the Soviet Union, for instance. Example code. The following 8080/8085 assembler source code is for a subroutine named mempp that copies a block of data bytes of a given size from one location to another. The data block is copied 1 byte at a time, and the data movement and looping logic utilizes 16-bit operations. 1000, 1000, 1078. 1000.
Yes, now the voice will read all these weird codes and numbers, but that can happen. I just play everything on the document. This is a PDF from Wikipedia. So, but I need a small break because we have some video ready to go public. Yes, and I did download the 8-bit, the 4-bit and 8-bit and 16 bits. No, from Wikipedia did download what the 4-bit is. The 4-bit, the CPU, 8-bit, 16-bit. We have to play that too, and we have to do this Enrico Frag, the designer of the 404. We need to have his name. He's the father of the 4004. We need to read and download that document. And we need a lot of stuff. We need to what the x86 instruction is. what example languages. But let's put this to video public. That's the video with the first 8-bit, the 8008, and this is the 8080, and there should be another one called 8085. I think we need to do that. That's another chip called 8085. So we need to, I have not downloaded yet. So now these two videos are public. 27 and 28. Yes, I need to do a break like this because I have to do all this alone, and I'm uploading same time, and maybe I need to go to the bathroom. Maybe I have strangers coming knocking on my doors and windows because I'm famous YouTuber. I have people coming like 200 times in the last 4 years, knocking on my door and windows and stuff. So this is why my windows look like they are, because they're making graffiti to my windows. I have to cover my windows, but I need some tape. Now I have this to camping. I will need some gaffer tape. I need some strong tape. I will cut this out and cover my windows, but I need some tape. I will do the same. This window that come in the night, and the spray with this graffiti paints that do that on the windows or knocking on the windows. So actually I just have to cover the windows. Actually I will need to cover with like wood, like a plywood. I will have to cover the whole windows because you never know, some night maybe some damage the glass in the windows. So this is why I have to stop recording sometime, because maybe I can have some strangers and I need bathroom. But let's just continue. And this camcorder can have like 2.5 hours of power. But every time I'm finished reading, I take a break and charging. Recording with my old JVC because that's very good. It can record text very clear. That's my only camcorder can do this. I don't have any other camcorders can record this text so clear. I use it when I read comics. I read comics, pocket comics in the Dennis. I use this camcorder. I'm collecting all kind of pocket comics. That's War One. No, that's comics like this. I use it to read text like this. All kind of comics. I have it somewhere, but I think I did put it. No, I did put it in a box there because I have to get out my apartments. They're going to renovate my whole apartment, so every tenants have to get out next year. Have to move to new apartments. Now this is my copies of Donald Duck. This is the Dennis Donald Duck. That's from the 1950 to 2000. That's an old Dennis Donald Duck from number 5, 1970. I was 3 years old. I was born in 66, 90. This is a Gradiate 9.6, and this is like $11. So this is one of the finest Dennis old one. That's like 50 years old. That's like brand new. That's some Donald Duck books, comics I use, but I cannot, because of the copyright, the Disney, I'm not reading Donald Duck loud. That's the latest Donald Duck in Denmark, number 18. Because it had some Lego, and I'm collecting Lego. No, had this Lego there, and I did buy 2 of them because then I get some bit spare parts. I have a tiny Lego collection. Yes, but that can happen. It will start to read some weird programming code or some weird numbers, but I just run it. So sorry for that. But now it's 3:30. So let's just try to continue. Know why it's not my camcorder not look that straight, but I have to adjust that. Yes, but let's just continue. But now the next few minutes this program will read up all these weird numbers and
1B1 1002 C8 1003 1 AM 1004 77 1005 13 1006 23 1007 0B 1008 78 1009 B1 100 AC 203 10 100 DC 9 MEMP. Copy a block of memory from one location to another. Entry registers. BC, number of bytes to copy. D, address of source data block. HL, address of target data block. Return registers. BC, 0. ORG 1000H, origin at 1000H. MEMP public. Move AB, copy register B to register A. Or a C, bitwise OR and C into register A. RZ, return if the 0 flag is set high. Loop, index D, loader from the address pointed by D. Move MA, store into the address pointed by HL. Inx D, increment D. Inx H, increment HL. DCXB, decrement BC, does not affect flags. Move AB, copy B to A, so as to compare BC with 0. Or a C, A equals a C, are both B and C 0. JNZ loop, jump to loop if the 0 flag is not set. Ret, return. Pin use. The address bus has its own 16 pins, and the data bus has 8 pins that are usable without any multiplexing. Using the 2 additional pins, read and write signals, it is possible to assemble simple microprocessor devices very easily. Only the separate I/O space, interrupts, and DMA need added chips to decode the processor pin signals. However, the pin load capacity is limited. Even simple computers often require bisamplifiers. The processor needs 3 power sources, 5, plus 5, and plus 12V, and 2 non-overlapping high-amplitude synchronizing signals. However, at least the late Soviet version 58080 was able to work with a single plus 5V power source, the plus 12V pin being connected to plus 5V and the 5V pin to ground. The pinout table, from the chip's accompanying documentation, describes the pins as follows. 8080 pinout pin number signal type comment 1 a 10 output address bus 102 GND ground 3D4 bidirectional data bus. The processor also transient lies here. The processor state providing information about what the processor is currently doing. D0 reading interrupt command. In response to the interrupt signal, the processor is reading and executing a single arbitrary command with this flag raised. Normally the supporting chips provide subroutine a call command, call or RST, transferring control to the interrupt handling code. D1 reading, lowest level means writing. D2 accessing stack, probably a separatist dark memory space ways initially planned. D3 doing nothing, has been halted with HLT instruction.